Hello! We have a special announcement. It's been a while since we've announced anything. And it goes a little something like this. The Receipts podcast are going on tour.
Yeah.
We are on tour, honey, going up and down to a city near you to give you a show in a real life. Live and direct. We haven't done a show since we did Manchester.
We did Manchester, but we haven't
been on tour.
We haven't been on tour since 2019,
Since
bro.
2019.
That was a long time ago.
We haven't been on tour as a duo
COVID.
ever before.
Exactly.
So we are very, very much looking forward to this. We cannot wait. We are going to be in a couple of cities.
We're going to be in a couple of cities.
Audrey, let them know. What are the cities, honey?
So we are going to Bristol. We're obviously going to be in London because it's home.
Of course.
We're going to be in Birmingham.
Of course.
And for the first time ever...
Drum roll, please.
Sorry, before we do the drum roll, we're going to Leeds. We have been to Leeds before, but now, drum roll, it's going to be bubbling in Dublin because we're finally coming to
Dublin. Dublin, we're coming to you.
I can't wait to go to Dublin.
You guys have complained to us many years, being like, when are you going to come?
I'm always fighting for Dublin. Every time we have meetings about these things, I'm like, Dublin, please, we have to go to Dublin because the girlies are always on us about not having gone over there. And I know we have a lot of listeners over there. So I'm really, really gassed. I can't wait.
We cannot wait to do all of the shows. Very, very exciting. Yeah, we're on the road.
We're on the road.
Oh, please, can we do this properly? And can we get like matching outfits?
Yeah, we have to. We have to go in.
We look like we're from different states.
Yeah, we do. We look like from different planets.
I want us to do this as girl bands,
let's match.
right?
Let's
like
match.
The bands.
Yep. Come through.
Designers. Kai Collective, I'm looking at you.
Exactly.
Designers,
Send your lookbooks.
Send your looks.
Let's come up with some concepts and things.
Yes, I think we should go as an actual girl group.
Yeah, let's.
So, do you know how Destiny's Child used to have like, it wasn't the same outfit, but
it was like someone will have a jumpsuit, someone will have shorts, someone will have a dress.
That vibe.
Do you know what I mean? So we can do that and we can switch it up according to the city.
That vibe. Tickets are out for Patreon, pre-sales.
Pre-sale for Patreon.
Thursday, the 12th of June, 2025. And for everybody else, Friday, the 13th of June. No scaries. Friday the 13th, 2025. Tickets will be out for you to buy. One more time with the dates. Where are we going? And give us a date.
So we are going.
So we're going to be in Bristol, Birmingham, London, Leeds, and Dublin. We're going on a world tour is what I'm calling it.
Yeah, this is the world.
Yeah. This is the world. We're very, very excited. Please grab your tickets and we cannot wait to see you live and direct.
I'm so excited. I can't wait. I cannot wait to get on the road.
Fun times ahead. And if you're just someone who kind of likes to travel, likes to bubble, maybe come on tour with us. Come to all the shows if you want.
Come, man.
You know?
If you're doing that, let us know, please.
Yeah, that would be so much fun.
Yeah, let us know. We'll figure something out. But yeah.
Can't wait to see you guys live and direct. And let's get on with the show.
Let's do it. Let's get to the problems of the world.
Welcome to another episode of Your Receipts, the episodes where we help you guys out with your dilemmas, your issues, your predicaments, anything that life is throwing at you. We are here as your resident big sisters, aunties, friends, lovers to help you through and hold your hand as we go through this thing called life.
Yes.
It's your girl, Tolly T.
And just call me Audrey.
Ow, 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 but not in the painful way. Right, first dilemma.
Let's go, baby.
Goes a little something like this. Hi, ladies. I hope you're good. I've loved your podcast since I discovered it in the pandemic, and now I don't know how I ever lived without it in my life. You are both truly amazing, smart, funny, and ridiculously beautiful women. Now to my dilemma. Around 5 or so years ago, I started falling for a close friend. Let's call him John. It turned out that he was feeling the same about me, but wasn't ready for a relationship. So we got into a situationship. You know the kind where you do all the things that make a relationship, e.g. being exclusive, but don't put a label on it. John kept me around, making promises that he would be eventually ready for a relationship. We genuinely loved each other, but over time it seemed like we just weren't healthy together. We'd argue all the time. I'd get jealous about him, letting other women flirt with him, and his defense was always, well, we're not in a relationship. During my intense, volatile situationship with John, I was friendly with another man I'd dated in the past. Let's call him Kane. Feelings for Kane started to develop again, and I started to feel like he was my soulmate. Kane felt perfect for me in all the ways I was realising that John might not be. Long story short, a year into the situationship, John finally asked me to be his girlfriend. I thought this was what I wanted for so long, so I said yes. But a month later, I cheated on him with Kane.
Oh.
I told John, and the whole thing blew up and we broke up soon after. I've never felt so guilty in my life. Fast forward 2 years, I was in a stable, wonderful relationship with Kane. I was certain he was my person. I found out on social media that John has a new girlfriend.
Okay.
Ladies, I kid you not, his girlfriend was famous. I'm talking big time influencer. I want to know who this is.
Who just got engaged?
I couldn't believe it. It gets worse. A couple of months later, I discovered John was in a new relationship. Oh, you didn't say that one, famous. Oh, that's that just gone.
Oh,
It gets worse. A couple of months later, I discovered John was in a new relationship.
Oh.
Kane, my partner, my person, died from a sudden brain aneurysm. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I know, even typing this sounds like a fucking film, but no, it happened. It was real. Fast forward another 2 years, I'm still grieving Kane's death. I'm lonely, I'm depressed, emotionally drained, and I've not been able to bring myself to date again after losing the love of my life. Oh my God. But on social media, I see how amazing John's life is going. He's now engaged to an influencer and they look so happy. I know breakups aren't a competition, but I can't help but feel like I'm truly losing and it makes me feel so worse. I even started thinking maybe losing Kane was my karma for cheating on John with him. No, it's not. I know it sounds ridiculous, but grief and guilt have done a number on me. Seeing John's life makes me feel worse about mine. We stopped talking after our breakup, but he sent me a nice condolence message when Kane died. Other than that, we've kept our distance from each other. One of our mutual friends told me recently that John misses my friendship and wants me back in his life. He told her to extend an open invitation to his engagement party. I'm not sure what to do about this. I don't know if I can go. I can't look him in the eye when I'm so jealous of how happy he seems, especially when I feel like I've lost everything. But I'm seriously lonely and I think I miss John's friendship too. Before our messy situationship, he was one of my closest friends. What do I do? Do I accept his offer for a friendship, knowing that it's almost impossible for me to be happy for him? Or do I just keep avoiding him and try to move forward with my life? I could use your advice. Go easy on me, please. I'm sensitive. Oh, girl, we are absolutely going the easiest on you. Like, I'm so sorry. And we're saying this with all of the care, all of the love in the world. As I've got older, I have learned to not put myself in situations where it feels like I am giving myself self-harm. And sometimes that does include being in situationships, in a situation that is a happy situation for someone. But if I feel like I'm actually going to be hurting myself by doing this, I don't go. And I had to get older to that, because before I used to be like, well, you just go because otherwise you look like you're jealous, otherwise you look like you're not happy for someone, or otherwise you look like a bitch. But I've kind of been like, I've got to put me first.
Yeah.
And being his friend doesn't have to be hand in hand going to the engagement party. You can meet up before the engagement party, meet up after the engagement party, just like have a casual meet up and talk, go for coffee.
Exactly.
Like, as in, like, there's ways that you can rebuild this friendship. That doesn't mean throwing yourself in the deep end and watching him be happily engaged. I think you watching anybody be happy in the relationship right now is going to trigger you, because you just lost, like, to death. You just lost the love of your life. So talk less of your ex. Do you know what I mean? That's gonna hit. So I honestly think it's okay to protect yourself. I don't think it makes you an evil person. I don't think it makes you a bad person if you're like, that's gonna be really hard for me right now. I can't do that, but I'd love to meet for coffee and just talk us two.
Yeah, I totally agree. I feel like the thing that stood out for me as well is the fact that you said that you're not happy for him. Do you know what I mean? And that's not to say that anytime we have a celebration, every single person in the room is ecstatic for us and it's all very genuine. But I feel like that, coupled with the fact that you are in a very dark place at the moment, like Tolly said, you've lost the love of your life. Like, this isn't something that's small. I think adding this whole extra layer of stress about whether you should go, because stuff like that can be very stressful. Like, you know, even for much more minor situations, like I've given myself headaches stressing out over certain things, whether I should go to them or not, and blah, blah, blah. It can get very stressful. So I can imagine like how intense this feels. And I just feel like you should not do that to yourself. And I feel like if you wanted to go, you would. I feel like if you wanted to go, you felt comfortable going, it wouldn't even be a question. You would know what to do. And there isn't even this element of like, you want to go there. Because sometimes when it's like an ex's thing or whatever, or you're going to be in the same space as an ex, is that whole thing of I want to show up and I want to look fire and I want to do this. You're not in that place because you're not really thinking about him in that sense. I feel like when it comes to John, all you can think of is the fact that you're jealous of him.
Yeah.
So it's none of that other stuff. Do you know what I mean? You don't want to go there and show up and show out and all the rest of it. So I think for me, I think you should sit this one out as well. Yeah. I totally agree. I don't think that you should force yourself to be in an uncomfortable situation. And
go on.
I was just gonna say, you have to remember you're already upset. And seeing someone that you once loved that you could have been with that it didn't work out with at the height of their happiness, I don't think that that's going to be good for your mental health. I think that might send you over the edge. Yeah.
And also, this person's with a big time influencer. You're going to see it. Like this thing is going to be all over your feed at some point. It's going to be everywhere.
If it's curiosity.
That's enough.
Exactly. I just think that, you know, I feel like sometimes we build things up in our heads. Like even with you not going, it doesn't have to be this whole thing of, do you know what, I'm going through this. You can just say you're busy.
Yeah.
Like say you're busy, say you can't make it.
Have a great time.
Exactly. And then when you're in a better headspace, then absolutely, because you do genuinely want to build the friendship back up again. And you can see him in another capacity outside of this.
I think the text is, thank you so much for the invite. I really miss our relationship. I won't be able to make it this time, but it'll be great to meet up for coffee and catch up.
Yeah, simple.
I honestly think people should give people a break. Like, I'm talking even like your friends and things like that. I think there are certain things that common sense should let you know that this might actually be quite hard for my friend. And just let them show up in the capacity they can. Like, I can understand if I saw before, it used to be really funny because I never used to know how I felt about this. Someone announced their pregnancy, and before it, they'd put a thing to be like, "Hey, I understand if this is hard for you. I understand if you're going through it. Please, like, feel free to unfollow me or mute. Like, I get it." And before I used to be like, "Oh, come on, man! Like, you're allowed to share your things, like, caring about what other people think, whatever." But again, older, I've got to be like, actually, I hear it. Especially if it's not for random people you don't know. It can be for like a friend that you know that, no, this will bother this is hard for them. So I think people should just allow people to be like, that might be quite hard and might not be able to go. I understand how someone whose partner just died might not want to go to someone's engagement party.
Exactly.
Absolutely valid.
And I hope that he does understand that and he's just extending the invite because you've been in his life and you're his friend and it, you know, not performative, but like in a sense that you're my friend, isn't it? You've got to be here. But I think, the understanding has to come from like, what if you decide not to go? Yeah. And I think that like hopefully he'll be understanding, you know. Yeah. There's no reason why you wouldn't be understanding of that unless you're a sociopath. Yeah. Because what do you mean?
I wouldn't go. I don't put myself in them situations anymore.
Yeah, that's a lot. I wouldn't, this is not shits and gigs where it's like, oh, you're just going to rock up because it's your ex and you want to look banging and you want to get a sneak peek of like the other influencer friends and stuff. Because if it was that, I'd be like, go. This is like a very serious situation. This is to do with your mental health. We're talking about loss here. We're talking about like, you know, I just think it's serious and it's heavy, and I just don't think you should do that to yourself when it's not all the way necessary.
Gosh, there's so many things where you just be like, God, you're hurting yourself.
Yeah.
Like, you go somewhere where you know your ex is going to be. You go somewhere and you're like, why are you actually putting yourself through this?
And in this situation, they're going to be at the height of their happiness. Like, are you in the right frame of mind to take that in right now? I don't think you are.
Even if you didn't have this traumatic thing happen to you, even if it was just like, no, this is going to hurt my feelings.
Yeah, exactly. That's valid. Yeah, that's same. Valid. If I don't want to see my ex happy, I don't care. Like I wouldn't. Yeah. I wouldn't be able to.
I just won't be able to do it. Yeah. So
same.
I wouldn't go.
Totally agree. All right. Next dilemma. Hi ladies, I wanted to say a quick thank you on behalf of all your listeners for the amazing advice you give everyone who sends in a dilemma. You truly do provide a safe space for so many people and I hope you are incredibly proud of yourselves. Keep doing what you're doing. Thank you. I wrote into you a while ago about my baby father that cheated on me with a girl from his country while my son was 6 months old. Oh, yeah. I won't lie, I didn't listen when you told me to leave him, but I finally did it.
We thank God.
Thank God. I've been talking to someone new for about 5 to 6 months now and he's amazing. He's very patient with me, understands my life situation. He's attentive, romantic and just a caring soul. He also spoils me like crazy, not just with gifts but with love, which I adore. However, he has some bad habits that make me question if I want to be with a man his size. Okay. We took a day trip to another city and stopped at a few food places and ladies, the man can eat. We got Chick-fil-A, Chipotle, cinnamon rolls, and some Greek food. Now, I ate all of my Chick-fil-A and half of my cinnamon roll because only one roll has 900 plus calories. But he literally ate everything besides the Chipotle, and then he devoured that when he got home that night. He always says he's going to start working out and losing weight, but he goes to the gym for a week, then stops and starts eating a bunch of junk food again. I'm not so sure I can be with a man his size that has these tendencies. He's over 300 pounds, I believe, and I'm not a supermodel myself, but I do try to be clean and healthy. Do you think someone's weight matters if they are a good person and they are good to you? How could I try to motivate him to get healthy, as I am worried about his health? Sure. I've told him before that I am worried about him developing diabetes or ending up with serious health complications down the line. Any advice helps. Much love, a devoted listener.
Okay, so Audrey knows this about me. And I'm going to share it with our fans. You guys know this. I hate people that like things too much.
Yeah, for real.
And I mean in a way of the
gluttony is not
you know, I cannot stand gluttony. It genuinely repulses me because only you, Chipotle, Chick-fil-A,
exactly.
cinnamon roll, and Greek food
on top
of everything
he
you've
saved the
ate
Chipotle
today.
for home.
And then we get in the car, we're seeing crisp apples.
Yeah.
It drives me so much. And I'm so sorry to whoever this offends, but when I once thought I could date a big guy and I went to his car and I just thought rappers.
Oh my God.
I just saw bare rappers, like chocolate bars, crisp, and just the wrapper. I was just like, I can't do it.
Yeah, that ain't it. That ain't it. I think for that's less about the weight and more about the messiness of it all. Do you know what I mean? Like, don't be sloppy. Yeah. Yeah. That's sloppy, man. Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, get it together, honey, with the rappers and eating everything in sight and
so I understand
eating badly.
Because I think if I'd watched someone do all of that, I know myself.
I
would have tapped out.
Yeah.
Because why do you? I hate men that like food too much.
Yeah, it's just greed in general. Greed and gluttony ain't it?
Like I even remember when people be like, people like men that will come to your unity, be like, you're gonna cook for me, used to piss me off.
Yeah.
Because I think men that like
why are you always looking for a meal, man?
Anyone can take you. Like anybody can just take you because
one
you
bit
just
of
like
jollof
food.
and you're gone.
Like, what kind of stereotype are you that your way to your heart is your stomach?
Yeah.
Grow up.
My friend stopped dating a guy because he was like that. She just said that it was such a turn off. Like they'd be at a restaurant and he would literally be like looking through her because he's trying to see if the food is coming from the kitchen. And she said she could tell that she'd be like talking and he'd just be like, yeah. And then anytime the waitress walked past, he'd be like, oh, it's not us. And then she's like, we just ordered. Chill. Like, just chill.
So I'm talking to you.
Yeah, exactly. And he's like, yeah. And he'll be like, oh, they got wings, you know? They got wings on the menu.
Should we try this? Should we try everything you want to try? Ole. Like, it's like gluttony makes me and I like my food. But honestly, I understand why gluttony is a sin.
Yeah, no, it's definitely one of the 7 deadly sins.
I know why God put it there was a sin.
Yeah,
because what's this?
Too much. Yeah. Yeah. And the thing is...
Chick-fil-A. And I'm sure he's not ordering chips here, burger here. I'm sure he's meal in Chick-fil-A.
Exactly.
Chipotle.
Yeah.
Was it a bowl? Was it
not a salad. Obviously not a salad bowl. She said bare junk food.
Was it a Chipotle bowl?
Yeah.
Was it a wrap? Did he have guac and...
Oh, he definitely had guac
on
and
the
chips.
side.
He
For an
definitely
extra
had guac and chips.
£61.65.
Yeah.
And on top cinnamon rolls. And I love a cinnamon roll, but come... And then after that, I said Greek food.
Gluttonous people are the people that they love a special. You know, when they're just like, we've got this special as well. And they're like, we'll take that as well. And by the way, gluttony is not exclusive to bigger people, by the way.
Of course.
You can absolutely be smaller framed and be gluttonous and all of them things. So we're not saying that at all. So it sounds to me like what she's saying in this email is that he's gluttonous. And
I hear it.
And then she said that, blah, blah, blah. Listen, at the end of the day...
I can't do it, is my truth. I know I can't.
Is his weight a big deal?
Do you know what it is? It's every time I'm watching him, just consume, my face.
Do you know what it is? I think that if that's something for you, then fair enough. If it's something that you can't do, then that's absolutely valid. But I don't think that you can't deprive someone of their enjoyment.
That's what I'm saying. I know I can't do
you know
it.
what I mean? So if food is his vice, food is his bag, that's how he gets his enjoyment. He likes to eat. Me too, I love to eat. It's one of my favorite things to do. It's definitely my vice. But if you're saying that it's something that, because it's not about the food, it's about the attraction. So you're saying that the way he moves when it comes to food is something that you find unattractive, then only you can answer that question. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like what she wants to know is she a bad person for leaving someone or ending it because of that reason when they tick so many other good boxes? I will be honest with you and say yes. But that doesn't necessarily make
it a bad person.
No, not a bad person. But is she shallow for that? Yes, because if someone, because if someone else if he ticks all the boxes and he's a great person, he's romantic, he's caring, and it's all of these things, but you are potentially going to walk away because he is gluttonous and it's something that like you consider to be very high on the 7 deadly sins list, then I personally do think that's shallow if they have all these other amazing qualities. But being shallow is not a crime. It's not a crime, and everybody has their. Everyone has their things and everyone has their requirements, and like people have left people for less. Like people's icks are exclusive to them, and if this is an ick for you, it's an ick for you.
I would leave.
But if it's something that
I know, sorry, I'm not even trying to sugarcoat it. I would leave because it would eat that as well if it was sugarcoated. I'm going.
But the reason why she probably should, because if he's this way inclined and this is where he gets his enjoyment, something that right now you guys are at early stages of the relationship. They've been seeing each other for 5-6 months. This is gonna grow and grow and grow, and eventually you're gonna resent him and you're gonna dislike him.
And that's the kind of man that'll tell you he wants to eat fresh fish stew every day.
And it's not fair to let something grow into a bigger thing of resentment when you've seen it early enough to walk away. Because I don't know how you say that to someone. I don't think you can change that about someone. Like, how do you say to someone, by the way, you're very gluttonous, I want you to change your ways?
Let me tell you how, I can't believe I'm telling this story. My dad had just died and people like came to my house just like check on me and whatever. And this person was one of the people. In the moment of grief, this guy said, should we order food? You order it.
Let me be the person to suggest it.
Food. And as I'm sat, tears filled in my eyes with grief, I'm just watching this man eat.
He's just opening boxes and peeling off sauce lids.
Get the fuck out of my face.
Oh my God. Like, have you got a spoon for that?
Oh my God. I couldn't believe it.
Spring roll?
I actually could not. But I couldn't believe it. You're eating.
Yeah, at a time like this, sir.
At a time like this, you're eating, is it?
No, have some decorum and eat on the way home.
Do your food on the way home.
Yeah. Or do it takeaway. Damn.
It'll be, have you cooked?
Yeah.
It's not me that's going to suffer because you can't not eat.
Yeah, get it together.
And there's kind of men, they never like to microwave food.
No, they don't.
They always like something fresh.
They want garlic and onions cooking.
They always want something
every
fresh.
meal.
The stew has to be fresh. The meat has to be fresh.
Yeah.
Oh, you can't eat day old rice. If you don't, fuck off.
So you keep on seeing this propaganda about rice.
I don't give a shit. It's
anti-black. I never believe it.
It's anti-black.
That I saw a TikTok and the guy said it's big rice. It's true.
Yeah.
Because it's like, what do you mean that apparently you're not supposed to eat rice after the next day? You're supposed to cook fresh rice every day. But by virtue, I would be dead. I've been eating rice the next day my whole entire life. I've been eating like refrigerated rice my whole life. I sometimes just leave rice on the stove. Overnight.
Really
I don't always put it in the fridge. But yeah, so back to your dilemma.
Really upset me.
I think it's only something clearly. Tolly clearly has her take, so you have her take, and I'm saying I think that if he was a great guy and he's made you happy, I think that, because I don't know how you're talking to someone about this, because ordinarily we'd say talk to him, but I feel like this is part of his personality.
Yeah.
He likes food, he likes to enjoy, he likes to spread the food love far and wide. So I don't think that you can change him. It's something that you either have to accept or you have to walk away from, because it's attached to attraction. So how important is attraction for you? So take that and then decide what you want to do with it.
You know how I feel.
Yeah, but you know exactly. You know how Tolly feels.
So it's up to you. And I think you fear to feel the same. You just wanted someone to tell you if you're a bad person or not. And Audrey thinks you're a bad person. I don't think you are.
I think you're shallow. I think it's shallow. I can't lie.
But like you said,
but it's not a crime. It's not, and like I said, people have different icks. I bet I have an ick that I haven't unlocked yet that is very pathetic, that I could potentially walk away from a relationship for. And that's not a crime.
Gluttonous and all things bothers me. I don't like people that like sex too much.
Overconsumption of
fiends.
Yeah.
Stand that thing in a person.
It's quite scary to have those kind of addictive personalities, and you don't know your limits, and you don't have self-awareness, and there's ketchup around your mouth. I mean, get it together. God. Dried ketchup around someone's mouth literally makes me feel sick. And do you know what else makes me feel sick? Chewing gum. And Nick will always be like, take his chewing gum, and he'll be like, if you love me, chew this. I'm like, I don't love you then.
But Audrey, you do that.
Because I will never do that.
To me?
I know I do. But I do it to wind you up. Because I eat like a pig, allegedly. But I don't know, it's true, 'cause everyone tells me. They're like, damn, like, Were you 3? Like, why does your plate look like that? And Nick's like, why do you eat like that? And he's like, why do you eat like that? And then I'll be like, do you want some?
All the time. She would have ate a burger and it would be like the last bite with like random shit on it. Just takes like a tomato.
Do you know what I do? I peel the cheese. So you know like how when you have a cheese on a burger and it kind of folds on the side? I take off the little corners. Yeah. I don't like that. I don't want to see the cheese on the side. And then I put it on the side and I offer it to people.
Then she's like, oh, do you want the rest of that? I'm sorry. What? In my most hungry, I'll never want the rest of that. We may be hungry, but we can manage our hunger. Like, what the fuck? But anyway, next dilemma. Hello, Audrey and Tolly. Thank you for all that you've done to share and empower your listeners. You are the best support squad the girlies could ask for. I am currently traveling abroad solo for the first time from New York, and it's so comforting to recognize places you mentioned for years, like Victoria Station, M&S, and Boots. I'm on my way to grab some sweets, biscuits, and crisps so I can get some real authentic taste of London. Nando's for dinner just to top it off. This is so cute.
Our ads pay off, mate.
This sense of familiarity has made me ease my travel anxiety immensely. Thank you. I love that. That's really sweet.
Yeah, I love that.
Anywho, onto my dilemma. I started a new job last year that guaranteed me free tuition at my dream school. I soon came to find that the professors are blatantly racist. Having to work with them and attend their classes has brought me such strife, and I struggled to make an average grade during my second semester. On top of that, this job is stressing out my husband. I come home every day with tales of blatant bullying and racism. I try to keep it surface level and not bother him with petty work gossip, but there have been some major occurrences that I needed to discuss. My husband has made it clear to me that he will cover the bills and my tuition should I need to leave the job. He's also asked me several times, is it worth it? He's typically a very calm, patient person, but I noticed that all of this added stress bringing on the worst out of his anger, something we've worked very hard to overcome in recent years through couples therapy, individual therapy. My dilemma is, should I quit my job for my man? It's stressing me out too, but it makes me especially sad to see the impact it's having on our household. Congratulations on the new studio. You are powerhouses.
So is she talking about the racist job?
Yeah. So the job is racist, and obviously she comes home and tells her husband how bad it is, and it's really stressing him out. So should she? No, you quit it because you want to.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like you quit it because it's blatantly racist, it's making you unhappy, and there's another way for you to achieve this goal without being at this job.
Yeah.
That's why you quit it. You don't quit it because it's stressing your husband out. I'm so sorry. I've fucking had it with like. That's your person. It's not happening to you. It's happening to them. They should have a place to be able to vent. If I'm venting to you, say, "Oh, this is making me angry now." I hate people that don't let you vent.
Yeah.
Like, I hate it. Like, it's not happening to you, is it? I'm just complaining. Like, you still get to live your life as normal and not go through all of this. Yes, it's stressful for you. Imagine how I feel.
Yeah, I'm interested at how this has been reframed as
into his problem.
Yeah, into something for him problem. Because I mean, he obviously listen. At the end of the day, this is just a shit situation to be in, full stop. Do you know what I mean? It just so happens to be that your man also wants you. Ordinarily, if you were somewhere and you were happy and thriving and you had a man that was like, quit your job, I would absolutely tell you no.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But that's not quite what the situation is here. In this situation, I wouldn't advise that you stay anywhere where you're being racially abused and you're miserable and unhappy. Your husband is just an addition to a long list of problems that, already come with this job. So absolutely quit the job because you shouldn't be racially abused where you work and you shouldn't be miserable where you work. It's hard enough going to work every day, let alone having to face abuse. So quit for those reasons, and don't let it be known to your husband, or don't let him feel that you're doing this for him, because you might be setting a dangerous precedent for your relationship. Do it for yourself.
And if for whatever reason you don't want to quit, and maybe because you don't want to have to put the burden on your husband having to pay for your fees or whatever, and I understand there's sometimes that you're something's not happy, you're not happy something, but you want to see it through. If for whatever reason you want to see it through and you feel like it's worth you seeing it through, see it through. And if your husband has to sit with you and listen to you be upset, so be it.
Yeah,
what's the point?
Yeah.
In better and in worse, this is the worst.
Yeah, I feel like people just want things to be smooth sailing all the time.
It's one of those people
that
he sounds like one of those people that like give you advice, which is my worst kind of. You're like, do you know, come to me with an issue, and I'm like, well, do this.
Yeah, and then
you don't do it, right?
Yeah.
And then you come back and complain again.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, why are you still complaining?
I told you what to say.
What to do. Yeah. I don't care.
And they almost think you're still complaining because you didn't take my advice.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, I just like to complain actually.
But I why are you smiling, Brent? I think you should allow people the space to complain for as long as they want, especially if they're your people. Actually, sometimes it is like, oh, shut up, man.
Yeah, but it's it can get annoying, but it's part of life. It's part of relationships. Do you know what I mean? Whether that be familial, I can never say that word, romantic, friendships, whatever. Like complaining and people venting, people going through hard times is part of it. I just feel like it's part of the terms and conditions of relationships.
So annoying. Do you just want to complain or do you want a solution?
I know, I hate men like that. The ones that are like, oh, so what are we doing about this? What are we like? I don't always want a solution. Sometimes I just want to talk. Yeah, I just want to complain. Yeah.
Like, is that a crime just to want to complain for about an hour
Apparently so,
and then talk about it again next week?
Yeah, exactly. And not doing anything about it and then
like what's so wrong with not fixing my situation and consistently complaining about it? And there might be options that I might be happier, but I choose not to go the happier route. I want to be sad.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not ready to face this. I just want to complain. No, I hear it.
What's wrong with that, eh?
Yeah.
I hope you sense my sarcasm and leave that stupid job and the racist people with it and take that off of your husband to pay for your fees and be happy.
Yeah. Totally. I totally agree with that.
But also sometimes it's not a solution. I just want to complain.
Yeah, exactly. Let people vent.
We are complicated beings. Next
dilemma?
Yes.
Cool. Right. It says, hello. I hope you're having a great week. Firstly, thank you for reading this. Secondly, I love you guys. You're so real, so honest, so right every time, and so fabulous. Thank you for all you do for women and all the allies of all sorts.
Thank you. We're so wrong so often.
Right. I probably should have written in ages ago before it got to this point, but I kept hoping I would be pleasantly surprised. My dilemma is I have totally gone off my new husband's parents and I don't know if I can snap out of it.
Okay.
Keep anon, obviously. Background, we have been together almost a decade. We live in a different country to our families. We are from different cultures. We have a newborn baby and we just got married and had a huge wedding.
Congratulations.
Exactly. I used to love his parents, so welcoming, fun, caring, chilled out, but now things have taken a weird turn. His parents make no effort and blame it on lack of funds. They used to be financially stable, then something happened, but no one knows what and no one talks about it. And as far as I can see, his dad thinks the longer he makes out everything is fine, the more it is. And I don't think he has any plan.
No.
When our baby was born, we had to pay for them to come and visit us and the baby, including accommodation and travel and everything over the weekend. I'm willing to suck this up because it's his parents, our baby's grandparents, and they are good people and not everyone can have plenty of disposable. However, people don't need disposable to make effort, in my view. When we had our wedding, they of course were not able to contribute financially. Again, understandable and not something to be annoyed about. But you can make effort / contribute in other ways, such as physical help. We gave them multiple opportunities to help out. My husband asked his dad to help him with research. He didn't. He then asked him to help him with some driving people around. He didn't. He then asked him to help with lifting things and sorting things across the weekend. He didn't. I asked his mum to help out with the baby across the weekend. She didn't. And my husband asked his mum and other family members to help make some food for the wedding. His mum did less than the others. We provided drinks and food for everyone staying there for the weekend, and his dad bought his own bottle and drank it to himself, offering no one, and sat watching my dad lift chairs, fridges, tables, etc. My dad is older, by the way. His dad drinks too much and then chats BS and pretends he has done loads to help. It happened over and over again. All this time, my parents are financially contributing over half, babysitting the baby the whole weekend, making food, clearing up, getting up at 7 a.m. to tidy the unstaffed venue, whilst his parents sleep in until midday. My parents did everything. I feel so embarrassed and my husband is ashamed. It was a completely unfair situation. They then had the audacity to say that I didn't give them enough baby hugs. They only wanted baby hugs when they felt like it, not when the baby was screaming during the ceremony rehearsal or during my bridesmaid's speech about me or during the live band, all things me and my mum missed because she was screaming. They wanted her when she was on great form and I was introducing her to people, yet she hasn't met yet. I even tried to send over a schedule beforehand, asking them to be involved and understand my plan. They didn't even try to help with her, and instead, my husband's family and friends and my mum's friends were running to my aid and to help. They are due to babysit the baby soon when we come home for the weekend, and I have completely gone off the idea. I don't want to use her as ammunition. That's not right, and it's not who I am. But they were not there when we needed them, and his dad was drunk the whole time. The baby cried throughout our wedding day, and they didn't offer to take her once. I don't feel comfortable with someone who drinks too much looking after her. They did not make an effort to bond with her, so she won't feel comfortable, and I also, to be honest. And sorry to say this, but I don't think they deserve it. There are multiple issues here, I guess. The lack of comms around what happened to their finances, which we need to pick up the pieces to. His sister does a lot to help as well, by the way. The lack of any type of help / effort, thought that went into our wedding planning and the day itself, which, by the way, are things people remember forever. Then the entitlement that comes with our new baby and the lack of proper understanding around what we need from them and how I now don't want them to be as involved. Am I being unfair? How do I manage the situation? My husband feels the same, but also it's his parents and he does plan to speak to them, but I feel I need to as well. Or is that too much? I haven't told them how I feel about them babysitting her. How do I do that? These are quite large issues that are probably long term, and I find it hard to get over them all. Is it all heightened by me having amazing parents who probably do too much, to be honest? I don't think I'm asking too much. We had no gifts for anything, 1 card on our wedding day, no effort across the planning or the wedding day. We paid all the expenses for their trip to see their granddaughter and 2 during our own wedding. Then no help with any of it. We had people not related to us doing more on our wedding weekend on both sides. At this point, it's not about finances, as it's about the thought and the huge lack of it. I really don't want to spend the rest of our lives paying for everything and bending over backwards for nothing in return. But it is also his parents and family is important. Thanks for all your help. I'm trying to be as understanding as possible, but I feel quite pissed off now. Anyways, you're both the best and I wish you positive vibes always.
I can absolutely hear that you are fucking fuming.
Yeah, definitely.
You were typing that and letting out everything.
You were letting it out,
was
honey.
Incredibly angry and mad and all of that. And I'll be very honest with you. I think it's okay to accept people for who they are. It's okay for you to not like them very much. It's okay for you to be frustrated with it. But it's also okay. I think you're getting to a comparison of my parents did this. Why did they not do that? I want, not everyone's family is how yours are set up. I don't actually think you have to know what happened with them financially. You're not their kid.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? Like, as in, family have secrets. People have their things that like, oh yeah, this is just how they are. The person who needs to carry this guilt and shame or whatever is your husband. And he's the only person that can talk to them or whatever. If you said to me, I don't want my grandkid with them because the dad drinks too much, absolutely valid. That one, I too would be like, don't let your kid go see them. They're drinkers, they're going to be drunk. You don't trust them to look after your kid. But I don't know if that is the reason that you don't trust them. You're angry at them, you're pissed off at them, and you're thinking, you're not going to have my baby.
Yeah, because it's very conflicting, because on some hand, she's like, why didn't they come and help with this baby? Why didn't they come and help with the baby? The baby was crying, they didn't do anything. They only want the baby when the baby's on good form. So therefore, there's a level of trust that you do have with them, because you have an expectation that, hey, if the baby's crying, why aren't you helping? Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So I do, but at the same time, I do think the alcohol thing is valid. I think that if that is truly a thing, then cool. But it does feel more like punitive. It does feel like more like you want to punish them because they haven't lived up to your expectation. Yeah. So therefore, maybe you're withholding the opportunity for them to have the grandchild. Like I actually agree with Tolly on this one. Like I feel like you have maybe have a romanticized version of what grandparents do, and for some people, this is their time to relax. Like honestly, some grandparents are like, do you know what? This ain't my kid. This ain't my responsibility. Like it's not. I think that it's a privilege to have very hands-on parents with your kids. Like I don't think it's a right. I think it's a privilege. I think if you've got grandparents that are, that kind of double up as childcare and, that are very hands-on, that's a privilege. I don't think grandparents have to be that way. I think so long, don't be abusive and don't be nasty to my child, I feel like. But you haven't said that they're anything like this. They're just not hands-on. And we don't know their financial situation. So I'm not defending them, because I actually hear what she's saying. That's very frustrating. Like if, you haven't helped out in any way. And usually I feel like we're so used to parents being overbearing. So like, they're like very relaxed. Yeah. They're sleeping until midday at a time where you feel like not everyone's supposed to get to work. Like no one wants to work these days. Like why have they not rolled up their sleeves and they're not chipping in? And I think that you're frustrated about that. But I think that they just see it as like a free trip. And they're here to chill. And they're here for the wedding.
And it's annoying because that's not what you expect, right? Like, do you know sometimes when a life event happens, you have certain expectations of people. It's the same when people are like, oh, you know who your true friends are when you have a baby, because in their head they thought, when I'm pregnant, everyone's going to stop everything and be present for me. When I have a kid, people are going to babysit. You had this romanticized view, and no one's wrong for that view, right? And again, it's like, when I have kids, my mom's going to have her all the time. The grandparents are going to do this. Okay, but some people don't want to. Yeah, it's like lack of ability to do it.
It's actually true.
Sometimes people just
I think that they just don't want to, you know. I think they came for a party and they came to relax. I think they're like, they're like, why are we here to work? We're the parents of the group.
We've lost all our money.
Have you heard all this stuff about Victoria Beckham and the daughter-in-law?
They're not talking.
Yes, so Brooklyn Beckham allegedly is not talking to his parents, and he's kind of like,
which I think is true because he hasn't showed up to key birthdays.
Yeah, exactly. And then there was like some story that went around. So apparently they had Mark Anthony performed at the wedding.
Yeah,
and then he gave a little speech, and he was like, okay, before he started singing, he was like, shout out to the most beautiful woman in the bride, and then but shout out to the most beautiful woman in the room, and then he looked at it and was like, Victoria Beckham.
Mark is a raggedy bitch for that.
It's just like, okay, we've got the whole ass bride here. It's actually her day, and then she had like, you know, a son and mother dance, and
Victoria's fault.
Exactly. So some people are just here for the enjoyment aspect. Like, not everyone is like trying to work, and I really think that this was them. I think they thought, hey, this is a trip, and especially if they've had like a hard financial time, they're like, oh my god, it's paid for. Let's rest. Let's chill. Do you know what I mean? And like, I mean, you did say your dad's older than them, but that's your parents.
But you can't put, honestly, you cannot put your expectations on people. You will be let down every single. It's rare that you expect something from someone and someone matches it. It's actually rare. I think for your own peace of mind, you need to realize that these are not the grandparents you thought they would be. They are these new age grandparents are lazy.
Yeah, they don't want to. They don't want
to work anymore. Yeah. Like, they actually expect you to look after the kid 24/7.
God forbid. What a concept. God forbid. Like, you know, raise my own kids.
Like, these grandparents don't want to like cuddle your kids when they're crying. They actually just want the good bits.
Yeah.
Because some grandparents in their mind, I've had my kids do all this shit.
That's their romanticized version of grandparenting. Do you know what I mean? So they're like, what do you mean I'm raising and disciplining and changing nappies? No, I just want to play and have fun. Do you know what I mean? Again, I don't know. I don't want to take up for them too much, but it does feel like, because the reason why I kind of have this take is because in the beginning you said they're very nice people. They're not horrible people. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're doing up like murder mysteries because you want to know what happened with their money. But
you don't need to know that.
That's not really your business. Do you know what I mean? Like, you probably will never know. But yeah, the main thing is that they weren't nasty people to you. If they had a history of being mean and ostracizing you, and they didn't want you with their son, and they were trying to sabotage and make your life hell, and then all of this, then I'd be like, you need to speak to your husband, and he needs to get onto that conversation ASAP. But you haven't said anything like that. You said they're very pleasant people that have hit hard times.
Pleasant people who just didn't meet your expectations.
Yeah, that's all. Yeah,
actually all it is. You thought, okay, cool, they didn't help out financially. They'll run around on the day. They didn't want to.
Yeah. Exactly. And also because you live in different parts of the world, so when you were spending time with them, or what you have seen of them is limited because you're not around them all the time. Do you know what I mean? And sometimes you're like, you have a vision of people in your mind until you're around them a lot more. And I'm guessing in the build up to the wedding, they've been around a lot more. So you're like, damn, they're lazy or whatever. But I think they're just grandparents that just wanted to come to the wedding to chill and drink.
Yeah. And ultimately, if you don't want them to have your child that weekend and this weekend, it's your child. It's completely, it's on you. But I also do think it's worth having a conversation with your husband, because I'm sure he would want a closeness.
Yeah.
With his, and I think sometimes as well, I think we always have that thing. It was like, oh, the mother side is always best. But it's because more often than not, the mother trusts her side more to do more things. Yeah. So the mother side shows up a lot more just because the mother,
it's their daughter.
It's their daughter. Yeah. But I think if you want a relationship where all sides of the family and it's not the mother side only, then you have to do that. But again, if it's, I don't trust them with my kid, they drink and you don't want that, that is a valid reason. But
she said that the dad doesn't remember that he hasn't done fuck all, and the next day will be bragging about how much he's done.
If it's like you don't want that, then take your kid away. But I do think in order for honestly, let me tell you what I've learned, Adam, for my own peace, for me to be okay, I have lessened my expectations of people so much more. And honestly, it's made me such a more happier person. Yeah. And I'm not saying I live this lonely life where I don't expect anything from nobody and anybody can let you down. I don't trust anybody. It's not that. I just allow people grace and give them whatever you're able to do. Exactly. Whatever you can't do.
And then if they exceed that, hey, pleasant surprise.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
Amazing.
Yeah, amazing.
And I'm not saying that as if I think less of people. I just stop putting my own expectations on them. Yeah, I stop putting what I would do onto them. I stop putting what my mum would never do that. I've just stopped putting things onto them. I just allow. You just have to allow it. It's again, hear me out. It is annoying. You like.
That is valid.
It is valid. You are right to be annoyed. I hope this message let you get things out. but they don't want to.
Yeah, they honestly, they came for a good time, not a long time, man.
Yeah, they're tired, man. They don't want to be the new ones. Just want to take a cute picture.
They didn't come to work. Yeah, they did not come to work. They came to enjoy that day.
And I'm sorry.
Yeah,
but
that's
hey,
awful. But yeah,
here we are.
Real.
All right, next dilemma.
Okay.
Hi, lovely ladies. Massive congratulations on the new space. Of course, I can't start this off without giving you guys all the praise you deserve. In fact, I even think my notes app has the storage to hold how much I want to say to you both.
Aww.
But you really are so incredible and such a blessing to us, your listeners.
Aww.
I pray God continues to work through you and bless you and all the receipts team in everything that you do.
Amen.
Not love to the prayers to the receipts team. I can't thank you enough for this beautiful platform and community you've created, and can't imagine my weeks without it. Now on to my dilemma. As everyone says, I'm really sorry. It's a lengthy one. Trigger warning, there are mentions of sexual health and suicidal thoughts in this. So if that's a bit tricky for you, please skip ahead. I am a 33-year-old woman who recently ended my long-term relationship of almost 7 years with the man I thought I was going to spend the rest of my life with. Our breakup was a long time coming after many ups and downs. Nothing too drastic. We just grew apart and realized we weren't right for each other in the end. Eventually, as hard as it was, I decided to end the relationship as I knew this wasn't my person and it was time for us to both move on. Now, my dilemma is I've been single for almost 2 years and I've really struggled to put myself out there and date again. The reason for this is because back in 2019, while still in a relationship with my ex, at this point, we've been together almost 3 years or so, I found out that I was positive for genital herpes. Now, I really want your listeners to lock in here because something that I was not aware of at the time, and I've come to learn a lot of people don't know, is that genital herpes can be transmitted orally by anyone who ever got cold sores, whether they have been visible outbreak or not. My ex used to get cold sores, but very rarely. But what happened in my case is that he had a cold sore coming on, which means the virus was called shedding, but he wasn't actually showing any physical symptoms at the time. So both of us were none the wiser. So one random day, 3 years into our relationship, we would have had sex as normal. He went down on me as normal and transmitted this to me completely unknowingly. At the time, I found out, I was absolutely devastated, of course, but my ex was extremely supportive and apologetic as we both had no idea it could be transmitted in this way. Yeah. So I hold no resentment towards him in that sense. Plus, after pinpointing the time we would have had sex to any point of diagnosis, we realized that he did have a cold sore shortly afterwards, which confirmed that this didn't come from him being unfaithful or anything like that. My issue now comes as relatively newly single, trying to date with this diagnosis. At the time, I was able to deal with it because I was still in a relationship and really thought I would marry this man. We had dealt with it together and I thought that I would never really have to worry about it affecting my life or even worry about having to tell anyone. Naive of me, I guess, with hindsight. But now that I'm single again, I've been in the deepest depression of my life about it. Interestingly, the herpes virus is actually incredibly common in adults and more people carry the virus than actually even realize. Approximately 70% of the population carry herpes simplex virus 1, which is a herpes virus associated with cold sores, but can also be transmitted to genitals. Most people just never tested for it as they're asymptomatic and are never taught this. However, with that being said, I know there is such a huge stigma attached to herpes. I can never admit myself that before my diagnosis, I don't know what I would have been open to knowing someone dating had it. This diagnosis, almost 6 years on, has now become the only thing I can think about. The fear of never meeting someone else or meeting someone and having to disclose my herpes status and then being rejected has completely consumed my whole life. It's the first thing I think about when I wake up and the last thing before I go to bed. I've even recently found myself having thoughts of suicide nature, which I've experienced before, and it's really starting to scare me. I just feel so lost, alone and embarrassed. I've only told one friend about this and they have been really supportive, but I can't bring myself to talk to anyone else about it. I guess I just want to ask what you girls would do in a situation. I know I shouldn't let this consume me as much as it does, and I've always been quite good at decentering men and romantic relationships in my life, but my God, it's hard enough to date or find a good man these days, let alone trying to do this with this diagnosis hanging over me. I've even had thoughts of reaching back out to my ex, as I'm pretty sure he's the only man that would even have me now. Pathetic, I know. I just have a fear of being rejected or being seen as less than, unworthy, or even dirty. when really I'm just a normal girl and all I did was have normal sex with my boyfriend like everyone else in the world, and I feel like I've been punished for the rest of my life. Please help me, Tolly and Audrey. This is honestly the worst I've ever felt in my life, and I'm really struggling to have a positive outlook on anything at the moment. I really appreciate you taking the time to read this, and any words and advice is welcome. I also hope I've been able to educate some of your listeners too. Love you ladies so much. Thank you.
Oh, honey.
You've definitely educated myself.
I was going to say those exact same words, like verbatim, like you've 100% educated me. And I feel like sometimes when it comes to things like this, honestly, the stigma is bigger than the actual issue. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's what we're dealing with here. I think you're beating yourself up and you're acting as though you're a bad person because you've got this thing. But if you had any other illness or medical condition, you would allow yourself grace. Do you know what I mean? And I get it, because it's the stigma attached to sex. So it's almost like you said, you did something bad and then you caught this thing, when that's not how these things work. And like you were saying in the beginning of the email, like 70% of the population is pretty high. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and say that it's going to be smooth sailing, it's going to be easy, but that's not because you're dirty or because of anything other than people just being ignorant. And most people are going to be ignorant. Like, I'm not someone that would judge anybody because of that, but at the same time, you know, there's people that, you know, again, the stigma is bigger than the actual thing. So if they're not educated on it, they may not have an understanding. But if they're not willing, like if you're dating and you disclose this to someone and they're not willing to hear you out, they're not willing to be educated on it, then that's not the kind of person you want to date anyway, because the chances are they're going to have that mindset about other things that you probably wouldn't align with anyway. Do you know what I mean? And so like you only need one person that's going to be supportive and understanding. You're not trying to date 10 people. And so yeah, again, it's gonna be tricky. Like, I don't want to lie to you and say that it may not be, but at the same time, I want you to give yourself grace and stop acting like you're dirty, because you're not. You absolutely are not. And I hate that side of it. Like, I hate that you're beating yourself up so much about something that was completely out of your control. And I would always recommend that when you're dating, because you will meet people and you will start talking to people and all the rest of it, and it's not something that you necessarily have to disclose straight away. Like, I would get to know people, but I do definitely think it's something you should disclose. But how soon, I think you can feel people out. And I feel like sometimes things like this do allow you an extra layer of discernment about how you filter people through. Do you know what I mean? And then you'll know, like I say, just try to destigmatize it from your life as much as possible. Talk to people, put yourself out there, date as much as you can, and then you will filter through the people that you think are worthy of knowing this information. And then if you feel like you get to a point with someone where you want to disclose it and you want to educate them, then you take it from there. The right person will be sympathetic, they'll be understanding, and they won't judge you for it.
And correct me if I'm wrong, you don't tell anyone you're not sleeping with.
Yeah, exactly. I don't
do you know what I mean? Like, unless you feel like this is the person you want to have sex with, you don't need to tell them. And again, this might not be how you date. And I assume when you're dating, it's not everyone you're going to want to have sex with.
Exactly.
So it's not everyone that you want to do that with as well. So like Audrey said, like, we're not going to make out to be like, oh, you're just being silly. It's going to be absolutely fine. Like, dating is hard. Dating is hard even if you don't have anything and you are the perfect, skinny, beautiful, tall, blah, blah, blah woman. You're still going to come across dickheads. You're still going to come and have a hard time. You're like, you could be the perfect what it is that's meant to be the most great person to date. But I have a strong belief that like there is someone for everyone most of the time. So I think we should give people the benefit of the doubt that people are a lot more grown up than what we think they are. I think sometimes we assume online conversations and like stigma around things is how everybody actually lives their life. And you realize like, it's really not.
It's a lot of bullshit.
Yeah, like a lot of people are incredibly immature. A lot of people, this is not like oh no, blah, 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 blah. A lot of people, this is not the stigma that we think it is. And look, I'll be honest, a lot of things we make worse in our head than what it is in real life, right? You convince yourself, like, oh my God, this is the worst case ever. This is this. And the stigma with sexually transmitted diseases is that you slept with the whole of your borough and that's how you got it. And anybody with an ounce of common sense knows that one person, it literally just takes having sex with one person.
Virgin could catch something.
Like literally one time, one person is what it is, and you know the situation of what yours is. And if it ever gets to a point that you've told someone this and this person you trust and you want to tell them how it came about, tell the story if you feel comfortable enough to tell the story. And this is what's happened and this is the situation that you are in, unfortunately. But don't
This is not the end of your dating life, your dating experience.
It's not.
It's not at all. And I genuinely think that when you feel energies of people when you're talking to them, like there's certain people, there's even down to friends, like there's certain friends I don't tell everything to. Because I know that they're going to have a completely different reaction to the way another friend might have. And I feel like this will be the exact same thing. And I feel like ruling yourself out by being miserable and just like, you know, thinking that this is the worst thing in the whole entire world. Like, you're ruling yourself out of a game. You're not even in the game yet.
You have to tap in the game,
you have to get back in the game,
Do you know when you're going to lose when you don't play?
Exactly. That's when it's a guaranteed loss.
You are absolutely going to lose without it out. As long as you don't play, you're going to be lonely. As long as you don't play, you're not going to meet someone because you're not playing.
Exactly.
Look, sometimes dating can be a numbers game. You have to date and filter through the shit to find something and someone that you actually like and want to be with. Don't cut yourself. You've written yourself off. Is actually what you've done. Before you started playing and you told yourself you're not good enough, you've written yourself off. Do not write yourself off. Like, it's not necessary. The first thing I'll do is go into dating outside of, don't think about having sex with people. Just go into be like, meet people, go for coffees, go for this, go for this. Like, take yourself step by step. Like, in order for people to not see you, there's a certain way you have to hold yourself that, like, there's certain things that, like, people see me because I present that to people. Like, I hold myself in a certain way that, like, even if people don't believe it, they have to believe it because I told you that's who I am.
Exactly.
So don't go walk around like you're a loser because you told people that you're a loser.
Yeah.
Don't walk around like you're dirty because you told people like you're dirty. You're not dirty. You're not a loser. You've done nothing wrong. Dating is bad enough as it is to make yourself feel like you are the worst person in the world and it's all what worries me, and it's bad enough.
You have a health condition, and I just feel like we extend empathy to people that have all sorts of health conditions, but suddenly we withdraw that when it comes to sexual health. Like, it's
and it's because people don't talk about it. So many
and
people
it's because
are
the idea that it was
right?
self-inflicted.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is with sexual health. Like, people think it was like, oh, you were irresponsible, blah blah blah. And you know, all of that stuff is stigma. And I just think that, you will know when you're talking to people, you'll know whether they're worthy of knowing that information or not.
You can spot an idiot.
You can spot an idiot a mile off because you'll know from other views that they have. Yeah. And then there'll be other people that will make you feel so comfortable. And I promise, like, I don't even think you're going to have this, like, with like this wave of negative like responses that you think you're going to have. You'll be surprised. And again, 70%, that's a lot of people. The chances of you meeting someone that also has it is probably quite high.
You're not telling everybody. You're not going to a coffee date and be like, oh yeah, just to let you know. You're not like, as in, before this disclosed, it's gonna take a minute, and there would have been trust built up. So stop counting yourself out. That's what I'll say. Just do not count yourself out of this, babe. Do not count yourself out of this thing. If you want it, I listened to a podcast. It's called Lovers with Zayn. It's actually great, and she said, I don't know how true this is, but apparently 80% of people who actually go out and want love find it. Like, you are actually intentional about it and try it. Blah 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 blah. Apparently it's found. So just don't count yourself out of something that you want. Is what I'll say.
Totally
You're not dirty. You've done nothing wrong.
Totally agree.
Next dilemma.
Next and last.
Let's go.
Okay. Hey, Tolly and Audrey.
Hello.
Hope your week is going well. You both deserve your accolades on everything you've done for your listeners. Being the oldest daughter, I see you both as my older sisters that I've never had, and I thank you both for it. Yeah. Wishing you everything and more in this thing called life. Trigger warning, suicide thoughts. Okay. On to the dilemma. Apologies if this is long. I'm 25 and I have a younger sister who's 19. I think she might have what's called second born syndrome. She's stubborn, talks back, can be quite rude. This has been her behaviour for as long as I can remember, and I think everyone around her has just gotten used to it. Sometimes I wonder if it's just her age, but as she gets older, it seems to be getting worse. It frustrates me because I find it hard to cope with people who behave this way, but since she's my sister, I feel like I'm expected to accept it. Apart from her attitude, she doesn't like showing emotions or talking about how she feels. When she does express herself, it often comes out as anger. I'm not a psychologist, but I've told her she might need to get checked out. I sometimes wonder if she has bipolar disorder. I've tried talking to our Nigerian mum about it and suggested she see someone, but my mum always brushes it off, calling her silly and saying we should just ignore her. Now for the trigger warning part. As I mentioned, she doesn't like talking about her feelings, but sometimes she'll have random emotional outbursts. She'll say things like she's depressed or better off not being here. She has sent me disturbing messages, ones that I won't repeat out of respect for your audience, but they really concern me. I always try to talk to her and encourage her to open up, but she tells me I wouldn't understand what she's going through. I've suggested therapy, but she insists it won't help. I've even told her to try praying or talking to God, but she says God hasn't done anything for her and that she doesn't believe in him. As her older sister, that really breaks my heart. She doesn't take any of my advice and tends to dismiss everything I say. That's part of why I worry she might have bipolar disorder. So I'm reaching out. Please, as my internet older sisters, what can I do to help her? How can I support her and possibly even save her? Thank you so much for taking the time to read this.
Ooh. You're an older sister. What would you?
Yeah, I am an older sister. And if it were my sister, because you obviously do have somewhat of a close relationship. And I think you started off by talking about like her attitude and stuff like that. And as we got further into it, we realized it's connected to something.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I feel like we need to just like park all of that stuff, because if someone's unhappy, they can't express joy. They can't, you know, they might be snappy, they might be stubborn, they might be rude. So we know that there's definitely a bigger thing going on. I think it feels to me, and again, I'm not a doctor, this is just my opinion, just reading it, it feels like something's happened to her and she is having trouble talking about it or expressing it. If it were me and that were my sister, I'm not gonna lie to you, I wouldn't stop. Like I would have to exhaust all measures, but in a way that feels supportive and not judgy and not overbearing, but overbearing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because I would have to keep a very, very close eye on it. I don't know about diagnosing her with bipolar. I don't know what the symptoms of bipolar are, but clearly there's something going on with her mental health, and we would have to get to the bottom of it. Like I said, I wouldn't stop. But I think that, you know, I would definitely encourage her to seek professional help. And I think, I would just let it be know that I'm here for you. Like I don't think I would stop. I think that if it were me in the situation, I would just come down to my sister's level in every single way until I got something, even if it's just in parts. But we have to figure it out, because I can't have my sister feeling this way and I'm just there. Do you know what I mean? But it's tricky.
I think you must stop diagnosing her. Like genuinely, you must stop saying, "Oh, I think it's stubborn sister this. I think it's bipolar this." Stop. I'm not saying she doesn't have these things, by the way. I'm just saying you don't know. So stop diagnosing her and actually stop advising her and just start listening to her. Like, I think this comes like, well, you should do this, you should do this. And then she doesn't listen. And it's just like, oh, that's what she's thinking. I honestly think she's a 19-year-old trying to grow up in 2025. Do you know the angst that must come in that? Do you know how much unhappiness these kids must be going through at the moment of being a teenager, trying to figure out what their life is, watching people on social media, hearing this point of view, just the angst that they must be going through currently, trying to grow up in this day and age must be incredibly hard. And I think sometimes when someone's low, someone's sad, being like, oh, just go talk to God, or go get it feels a bit dismissive at times. To be like, I don't want to deal with you, go pray about it, man, go to a therapist and be like, well, I think you should do this. I think what she might need at the moment is just someone just to listen to her. And sometimes it's hard. Of course it's hard. You're older sister, you love her. So you just want to go fix it. Okay, cool, let's sort this out, blah, 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 blah. But I genuinely think sometimes when people are just sad, they just want, I just want to talk about how I feel. I just want a space where it feels safe that I can say these things. She mentions that she's not like, did she mention she's not happy, or you feel like you sense she's not happy? Or like you say every so often she'll message to be like, and I think, take advantage of the time where she texts. She's in a place where she wants to talk. If she's texts, I don't know if you live together, if you don't, just be like, do you know what, let's tell me all the shit things you're feeling. Tell me. Let's talk it out. But I think I can only imagine out of panic and love when someone texts you, they're like, no, what do you mean? Let's sort you out. And she might just want to say the shit things in her head. Like there's a difference between like suicidal ideation and actually wanting to die. They're actually two very different things. Like some people IJ it because it's just like, is this the only way out? Rather than thinking they're actually something that they're going to go take part in. It's just a thought to allow some version of like, okay, there's a way out here. And all of these things, hearing from someone that you love is scary. Getting a text from someone you love saying, I can't understand anymore, I don't want to be here, is going to scare the shit out of you. But I think in those very moments, let's sit and talk about this. Like Audrey said, it's your sis, like there is no giving up. We're going to keep at this. And I just don't know how being like, oh, I think you've got this, I think you should go see a therapist. Yes, of course, that's great advice. But for someone that might be feeling shit, it might feel like you're passing them off. And I think when someone's feeling shit, they might just want someone that just sits there and just listens. And even if it's like, there were times where you don't have to talk about what it is that she's going on. Plan something that doesn't even mean you're talking about her feelings. Oh, do you just want to go cinema together? Oh, you just want to do just something that's like, and then in the more she builds a relationship with you, there was a moment that maybe she was like, oh, hey, I'm feeling like this. But I think there just needs to be this very apparent, I am here for you. And not everything has to be surrounded about your sadness.
And I also think, that sometimes when people have such extreme, like, emotional, like, reactions and stuff like that, in their head, they might think they can't, they might not be able to, like, understand why they feel so shit. So to them, they're like, but there's nothing even wrong.
Yeah.
So I feel like sometimes there's an element of embarrassment because people have had like an extreme visceral reaction, but the thing that they're feeling feels small.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I think it's really important to be like to people, it doesn't matter. Because when people react like that, you expect it to be something massive. And in her head, she might be thinking, but it's not even anything massive. Now I can't say it. So I feel like something that would make me feel better is being like, it doesn't matter how small it is. Like, if it means the world to you, or if it's something that's really getting you down, let me know. Like, it doesn't have to be this big thing. It might be a big thing. That's also very much a possibility. But it might also just be her not being able to, like, contextualize how she's feeling.
Yeah. Or she might not know.
She might not know.
Like, she might
just feel shit and she doesn't know why.
It's this thing. Because I think with depression thing, sometimes it's chemical. Sometimes there's actually nothing like to other people anyway. That's like, it's this thing. They just have this outlook on life that it's, I just don't know. And I have a big thing, like people like, because a lot of people are incredibly sad, but they function. So there's this assumption as like, oh, they're high functioning, depressed, and I hate the idea of that, because the only reason why we think it's okay is because they're functioning in capitalism. They're able to go to work. And that's why
they're making you feel better by acting normal.
Because they're able, we don't know if they, like, their heads are probably not capable for what they can do. They're able to take part in society in a very capitalist way. Like, oh, they can go to work and they can show up, so they must be okay.
Yes, they have to. We've got bills to pay.
But they're not functioning.
Yeah. Definitely.
And sometimes people are unable to pinpoint, oh, this is the thing that's wrong with me. Or it's like, there is just this sadness.
It's just a feeling.
And I completely understand the frustrations of people that love them to be like, how can we fix this? But they must also be like, I don't want to fucking, I don't know.
Yeah, they don't have the answers.
I don't know. And I think it's just a thing of like allowing them space to talk to you. And then when it comes to be like, hey, I've booked this thing for you. Do you want to? Sometimes you have to be like, do you know they're saying you can take something to water, but you can't make it. Sometimes you have to make them drink. I have booked this appointment for you at 9 o'clock on this day. If they don't show up, you have to be okay with losing that money. But know that you're like, because you sometimes go, I'll go to therapy, but then it's another task you're giving them. They don't have to go find the therapist. They don't have to go. It's another task.
Money,
it's like, on this day, I've sorted someone out to talk to you. It's there. If you don't want to do it, I completely understand. But just know, here's the link. Here's the address. If you decide to go, it's all sorted out for you.
That's really good advice. Yeah, because sometimes that's an extra burden of another thing. It's just like someone's feeling sad and depressed and low, and now you're telling them to go Google therapist.
But I didn't even start from.
Like,
sometimes it's just about like and then also just taking some things out of their hands. So if it's you just, and then it's your sister, you just do her meals, or you just kind of be like, okay, cool, let's clean your room. Let's just taking things out of their hands so things just don't feel so overwhelming. I can't imagine being a teenager in this day and age, and I've got a sad bone in me somewhere. Like, it's something I really have to like not feel. So I can only imagine if I was younger doing that and then having that sad bone or sad chemical. Only God knows.
Yeah, definitely. I just think it's so important that she feels that you're there for her and that she doesn't feel like the problem is too big or too small.
Yeah.
Because that whole thing of like, if you've got a family that you open up and they're like, oh, is that it? Because for some people, like some families, they can only like fathom if it's like a big thing.
Huge thing. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? We haven't necessarily gotten to a place yet, especially in African households. I can't remember if she's African.
Yeah, she said she had to speak to her Nigerian.
Yeah. What do you mean this small problem? Oh, and then they reduce it, and then I feel like that can make it worse. So she needs someone on her side that is going to support her regardless of how big or small it is, because at this point we don't know. You know?
Yeah.
Oh, poor baby.
But I hope you can sort it out.
Yeah.
And even if it's just doing little dates that are not centered around her feelings, just, let's just go do this today. Let's just go
do an activity that takes her mind off
and
it.
just allow her to feel safe with you, to be able to talk and trust that you're not going to go tell mum or trust that you're not going to try and fix it.
Yeah. Sometimes just listen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is what I would say.
Agreed.
But yeah, that's it.
Agreed. Yeah.
That is it. If you guys have any advice, please feel free to come in and share the love and share the advice.
we're going on tour, baby.
We're going on tour, so we get to see you and hug you in real life. We cannot wait.
Can't wait.
Cannot wait. What I'm most looking forward to is for us to come and record and Audrey to say, still buzzing from the live show.
I'm bringing that back.
I'm still buzzing from the live show.
Get that back.
Can't wait.
Yeah, me too. I'm very excited. So get those tickets, folks.
Yeah, thank you guys as always. Look after yourself
and each other.
Bye.
Jerry Springer.
R.I.P. Jerry Springer.